Turn our attention right now to the build-up to the American election. 6 days ahead of the U.S. elections, the American ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, has exclusively spoken to Times Now. He's spoken in detail about his expectations from the election and also the growing ties between India and the United States, including energy security. Let's listen to what he said.
Well, we are here in Riyadh today for the 8th edition of the Future Investment Initiative. Many people are calling it, in a way, Davos in the desert. And joining us today is Eric Garcetti, Ambassador of U.S. to India. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now. Firstly, what do you have to say about this summit, this event here, the hospitality? You live in India, where we live by Atithi Devo Bhava. Did you experience something similar here?
Well, nobody can do better than India when it comes to hospitality, but the Saudis are very close. This is a tremendous conference where you really feel not only India's presence in this larger region, but also the opportunities and how dynamic right now this country is. And I came here to speak about the connections between Saudi, India, and the United States. Things like IMEC, the India-Middle East corridor, which could connect our nations together with a vibrant trade route, communications route, investment opportunities. And I was here also as a cheerleader in the U.S.-India relationship and saying why India is such an important country to be investing in, to be present in, and to be engaged with.
You know, with this particular summit, we're also seeing how Saudi Arabia is trying to present itself as a land which has something else to offer apart from oil. What are your key takeaways for India and for the U.S.?
There's no question. I mean, you look at the number of Indians that are here. First of all, so there's economic opportunities as doctors, as laborers, as people sending remittances back to India. But also, increasingly, it's IP being shared between Saudi and India, the amazing technology that Indian companies are doing. We had a session this morning looking at the ways that Saudi investments are fueling those companies, and vice versa, India investments are coming now to Saudi as well. So it's really become a two-way road. And most importantly, in the technology of the future, the theme has been AI. How can we make AI something, which helps all people instead of dividing us and harming us?
Climate change has also turned out to be a very important issue. We all talk about climate change, and here the focus is infinite solutions. So what is your sense on, how the world should really come together to now really talk about some solutions which are implementable for the entire world to deal with climate change, because it is a reality?
There's 800 million people who are vulnerable in India to climate change, extreme heat, people who lose their lives when they can't afford air conditioning and the heat is unbearable. And here in Saudi, it's even hotter. So we know, whether it's from my own hometown of Los Angeles, where we see fires, or whether it's in the Indian subcontinent where we see floods, this is something that isn't about tomorrow, it's about today. And it's very refreshing to see a country that we thought was just about oil and gas, really seeing that in the future it's going to be electric vehicles, solar power, wind, green hydrogen, which I really think Saudi, India, and the U.S. are working on together, that these fuels of the future can give us hope that our children and children's children can survive.
Joining us today is Navtej Singh Sarna, a name who does not need any introduction, a very popular diplomat, a columnist, author, and also a former ambassador of India to the United States of America. Sir, thank you very much for speaking with us here in Riyadh. Firstly, I want to understand from you, many are calling this event like a Davos in the desert. How has been your experience, and why do you think this is an important place where thought leaders from around the world are converging to find solutions to some of the most pressing issues for the world?
Well, I think it started with the tagline of Davos in the desert, but I think it's moved on and developed a personality of its own. This is, I think, the 8th edition of FII. I think it's a huge gathering, about 8,000 people, I believe. Every single significant financial personality, economists, thought leaders, editors, world leaders, politicians are here. Even our minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, is going to be here today, I believe. So I think it's a very progressive, very forward-looking event. And the discussions are quite gripping. They cover geopolitics, geoeconomics, and particularly technology. I think artificial intelligence and different aspects of it are getting a lot of attention. So I think in terms of giving a future direction to investment, to exploring new avenues of cooperation, particularly economic cooperation in a very turbulent world landscape. I think it's an important event.
Great. So we are talking just days ahead of the big election results in America, which is being termed as historic for the American politics with the two candidates that we have for the President of the United States of America. You understand US very well. How important is this election for India? How important is the result going to be?
Well, I think it is historic because in terms of the fact that it is there's no election that's been so narrowly fought and so closely tied almost to the last minute. So we really don't know. Nobody seems to know where it's going to go. It all depends upon 6 or 7 swing states and which way they go. As to what it means for India, I think we are fairly clear. We worked with President Trump before, we worked with the Democrats before, and I think for the last quarter century, the India-U.S. relationship has been progressively moving upwards and forwards, and I see no major significant change in that trajectory. There would be perhaps a change of emphasis, a change of nuance. Every personality brings a different nuance, a different kind of stress or a subjectivity to matters, but that is a very small element. I think the larger direction of the strategic partnership is safe, and I think we'll be able to work very well with whoever is in the White House.